While PASS is an SSI work incentive, it might be an option for someone receiving SSDI only. This is a possibility if the person meets all of the other SSI criteria. First, they must meet the definition of disability, which we know they do because they receive SSDI benefits, so that one's already covered. Secondly, they must have resources under the $2,000 resource limit, or $3,000 for a married couple. This is something you're going to need to explore with the prospective business owner. And you might ask too, if they have resources over those limits, they might be willing to use those resources for their business startup, in which case they could be contributed to a PASS. And lastly, to be eligible for SSI, you must be under the income limit, which right now, for people who are receiving SSDI only, they don't meet this criteria. They're receiving too much in SSDI to be eligible for SSI. But let's see how this will play out. Let's say Fred is drawing an $820 a month SSDI cash benefit. Without a PASS, SSI program would count all but $20 of this as his countable unearned income. Since $800 in countable unearned income is higher than the maximum SSI cash benefit of $783, Fred would not be eligible for SSI, even if he met all the other SSI eligibility criteria. But if Fred wanted to utilize PASS, he could submit a PASS application to the PASS specialist for his area. If the PASS is approved and that $800 of countable unearned income is contributed to the PASS, it is no longer counted. Since he now has zero countable unearned income, he's eligible for the full $783 in SSI. Amazing, huh? Fred will now also receive two payments, $820 in SSDI and $783 in SSI, for a total of $1,603 a month. But remember, he has to set aside the $800 into his PASS to use for items and services approved in his plan. So that leaves him with $803 to live on, only $17 less than he had before. Plus, he would be eligible for Medicaid, which is a huge benefit in and of itself, and it might help him recoup that $17 by covering additional medical expenses. Because look at this, his PASS contributions of $800 a month turn into $9,600 over the course of the year, or $28,800 over 3 years. So this could be a wonderful resource to support the startup of his business. But remember that for PASS to work for people, first, they must meet all that other SSI criteria, disability, resource limits, and whatnot. And the numbers must work for them, especially if by using PASS, it's going to reduce their money for living expenses. We need to make sure that people have enough money to live on. And there are a couple of different circumstances that I consider red flags. And we'll talk about this more later, but it's people with very large SSDI checks, or sometimes people who are married. It's not that PASS can't work for them, but it just might be a little more complicated, or the numbers might not work. So let's take a look at those in the reading below.